Welcome back to MPIT in plain English. This is part 13. Releasing the Redeemer, becoming the self who survived. At the heart of narcissistic collapse is not just trauma, but longing, a kind of spiritual longing, a symbolic hope. Let's explore how the Redeemer, that part, is not wrong, but exhausted, not delusional, but dysregulated, and how its symbolic release is the true beginning of healing. The Redeemer is a role, not a self. It is a false vocation, constructed in the fantasy, forged from the longing of the mute child, the one who never got to speak grief aloud. To soothe that grief, the psyche creates a part who believes it can earn love back. This role is often mistaken for authenticity. I'm the one who understands them. I saw their pain. We had something no one else could understand. But in MPIT, we understand. This is a libidinal bind, a Hall of Mirrors rule constructed to survive symbolic abandonment. It is noble in its intention, but distorted in its function. The what if personality, the grief of alternate timelines. The Redeemer loop gives rise to a recognizable psychological pattern. The what if personality. This is not simply someone who regrets, it is a personality structure rooted in recursive fantasy. The survivor does not just grieve the relationship, they grieve the unlived versions of it, the thousands of potential timelines where they said the right thing, left sooner, stayed longer, or got the apology they still crave. This what if mode is a form of symbolic self persecution. It generates affective loops of guilt, imagined agency, and moral exhaustion. So, here, for example, what if I had answered that message differently? What if I hadn't pushed them away? What if I was the narcissist? This isn't clarity, it's delayed mourning. The what if mind has not yet accepted symbolic death. It still believes it can change the path. Now let's look at our affective spectrum, from psychotic fusion to neurotic reflection. In input, this internal state is not simply emotional, it moves along a spectrum of symbolic affect. At first, there was the structure of psychotic fusion, the complete enmeshment with the narcissist's reality. And then our experiences, we looked at it as we were meant to be. They'll realize it. And then there's the borderline loop. The structure in borderline is splitting, magical thinking, and identity confusion. The survivor looks at it as if I don't know if they ever loved me or I imagined it. But whenever we get to our neurotic position, the structure here is recognized grief, emerging symbolic authorship. And our experience then will show that we will say to ourselves, I now know that I wanted to save them, to save myself. Input does not kill the Redeemer, it frees it by recognizing its origin, the mute child's unmet needs, and its function to maintain a libidinal fantasy. We no longer hate this part, we honour it, but then we retire it. We allow the Redeemer ego to dissolve, to unbind from the loop, and to return its energy to the truth self, the only part capable of integrating all the others. This is where mourning becomes clear. The survivor says, I see now that I was loving a possibility. I was addicted to meaning making. I have no more what ifs, only what is. The Redeemer ego kept us alive in collapse, but it cannot bring us back to life. Only authorship can do that. MPIT teaches that healing begins when the symbolic loop ends, not through logic, but through witnessing. The truth self sees the Redeemer clearly and says, "Thank you, you served me well, but you are not me." And at that moment, the survivor begins to become who they were before the fantasy, before the shared illusion, before the longing turned inward. Not the one who saved them, not the one who stayed, but the one who survived. Peace out. Loads of love.